Hello everyone, Tanak here. Welcome to episode 96 of Building My Industrial Empire in E-Online. Let's start with the progress report. As you can see, my net worth plus that of the corporation is now at 227 billion ISK. I look at the tracker here. It's pretty much not a big progression from last week. Here you can see that it's pretty much a side step compared to last week. There is a little drop on Tanak, which not sure where it came from. I did lose one ship this week, which is a Gila, so it should be like around maybe 300 to 400 mil, but I did rat enough to compensate for that. So I expected Tanak to be basically the same, but it does fluctuate a little bit with the value of asset. The corp did climb a little bit, and that's mostly ratting tax. The wallet is like probably around 3 billion more than last week. So not a very eventful week in terms of financial change, I would say, which is actually, as you can see, it's pretty much a recurring theme this week, which with the non-eventful part. Let's go into HR. HR here. You can see that we are now at 350 member in the alliance, so that's -3 compared to last week. What happened is, well, we did get some attrition this week. It wasn't a super strong week for recruitment, and we did get some attrition and a removal of some member that were inactive. So all in all, our number are pretty stable during the week. One way to look at it, and that I like to do, is checking the active in PvP in the last 7 days, which is a much better indicator than any type of number that you will see online, because in there you have PI alt, you have scouts, you have Sino alt. So the best way is to see compare corporation is checking the online activity. It does vary from week to week, obviously, but we're pretty constantly between 50 and 60. At some point, the height this week, we got to 64 at some point. But it depends on how much fleet we get. The last few days have been pretty calm on the military side, so that's why the number go down a little bit. But overall, pretty stable number. It was a calm week, and that is true. That's the number I wanted to show you. That is true for pretty much. It's not just WOMP; it's the game itself. If you look at the average people online during the past week, we are at a very low point. The average on the last 3 months, which included those very low day during the summer, were pretty much lower than what it was at the lowest after this is like when scarcity came in, like the big drop in the capital change, and it never picked up, and now it's going even more, like 14k online right now. So that is that I would say that as a regular player of the game, this is a little bit worrisome. Again, WOMP, where our number are holding, I would like the game to grow, and I would like us to grow as well. But for the state of the game, obviously, it would be better if we get more players. They did implement a lot of change, and now you'll hear me rambling a little bit about the state of the game. They did implement a lot of change to change the new bro experience, which is great. The really important part on new bro retention is for them to get into a good corp, and I'm not specifically saying WOMP. Even some of the people we're fighting are good corp too. I mean, find a nice home. If you're starting to play Eve, find a nice home and live there. I made the mistake at the start of playing solo in ISAC. You're missing half the fun. And the fun, this Eve is a social game. You will not have as much fun soloing in ISAC, in my opinion. There is a thing that you can, the one thing that you can do in ISAC and that the people do in ISAC, like AFK mining or half AFK mining, there is less vigilance that is needed in ISAC compared to null or low. But again, that comes at a price of the interest of the gameplay and the skill making, because even if it's riskier in nullsec, you make so much more money that it is better space. Anyway, so that's pretty much it about HR. Hopefully they do something to bring back player in game, and I think they need something to shake things up and bring the veteran back, because it's keeping the new player is one thing. Driving your veteran back in game with some interesting stuff for them to do. We need to add them some different various gameplay loot. If you've given up on Eve for a while, you're not gonna come back for a new skin, or most people I would say. You need to implement some new fresh gameplay loop or stuff, new ship to fly or stuff that will actually give some interest for the player to come back. But anyway, enough rambling about this. But it is just to illustrate that it was an indicator of a general slow week in the game. On our part, I told you that we were fighting in Imentia. Here is Catch. This is our one constellation, and we are fighting in Imentia and Tenerifis. The war was a weird one this week. Again, there was a push by Fire who destroyed a bunch of iHub from Deepwater Hooligan, who had evac their space. And they did take 2 iHub here that were here by a Rogue Consortium. So all in all, I would say Fire made a little bit of progress this week. They still haven't they still haven't put iHubs on all the constellation on the system, all the system here, but they are making some progress here. We did get into a few coalition battle. One here against Snuffed Out, where we did have a few people there, and was an interesting fight with Gila against Macariel, and another fight where Wrecking Crew joined, where we did have a small delegation, but the bulk of the force was Imperium fighting Fire and Test, and we joined on that side. Those were the 2 big battles that we participated in this week. We did have, and again, I'm telling you my perspective. I don't see all the coalition battle. I'm not at that level where I see everything that's going on. But the goal of the war, anyway, from Wrecking Crew has always been to generate content for the people that were content starved for a while. So in a way, it did accomplish that. But this week, what the sad part is that we did get into a situation where we underform on a few fights, so we couldn't take the fight, and we overform on some other, so our opponent wouldn't take the fight. So it was like blue balls on both sides in various conflict. I remember one specific fleet where we had 96 in fleet, and our intel was telling us 24 from the opponent, so they didn't form. So we ended up staying home on that fight. And there was another fleet where we had around 45 in fleet, but the opponent outformed us by at least double that amount. So we didn't go and feed on purpose either. You want to get the sweet spot where both sides see an engageable fleet on the other end. If you overform too much, your enemy, who is somebody that is smart too, you have to calculate that they're not morons in front of you, so they will, the FC, if he doesn't see a chance of at least having a fair fight or something that is engageable, he will stay duck, he will avoid the fight, and that's true on both sides. So you need to get into the sweet spot where both sides have more or less equal number, so you can see there is an engageable engageable fleet on from both sides. So we didn't get that much of those opportunities this week, so it resulted in a pretty calm week on the war front from the WOMP perspective. Again, I was not there at every fleet. We are not there at every fleet, so maybe there was some other big fight that I didn't hear about, but from our perspective, that's pretty much it. Aside from that, again, some little stuff in the pocket happening, like the average fight. But even typically, like people that come and try and rob the ESS, it was calmer than usual. So that's pretty much it on the war front. Industry side, we didn't anchor anything more this week. We do mine some moon pool. We are working on piling some ISK to build more rigs to improve our structure, but we didn't progress that much this week. We're mostly keeping liquid for now. And aside from that, that's it. That's it for this week. On 10x perspective, I told you I was training in Paladin. I miscalculated, and I could get pretty fast in a Chronos, but I don't have. Oops, that's not the one part I want. This is the skill. I did want. I was thinking when I was training that I would get into a Chrono. Initially, I was thinking Paladin, but I was saying Paladin, but I was thinking Chronos because I got Galante battleship at 5, but I don't have a more battleship at 5. So I ended up saying switching my skill queue a little bit to get the MR battleship and to get into Marauders. So I still have a month training to do before I can get in that Paladin. I might end up injecting, and the reason I specifically want a Paladin is because they got the best damage profile compared to the rat we have in our pocket, and the goal of getting a Paladin is to get those bigger juicy ratting tick. What I might do is I might end up injecting. I do have, like you saw earlier, I do have like around 55 billion ISK liquid, so I could easily inject it, even though I'm getting at a point where injecting is not as efficient because of the number of skill point I have. But I might do it just to get faster in that Paladin and get to play with the new toy, because although I'm a firm believer in cash is king, and I like to have a lot of liquid ISK. I mean, there's no point in flying suboptimal and being less efficient in the way you rat just to keep a large wallet. So it's a balance between the two, and I'm at the point where I could probably invest in that. So that's pretty much it. The rest is I'm working on our like combat skills in general. That's pretty much it. I wanted to show you I did get in the pocket. One of the I am bringing more heavier asset in the pocket just to have more variety when there's PvP. and I do like the Geddon a lot, and I like it a lot with that skin too. I think that the bio, that's the skin you get from Project Discovery by Biosecurity. It's pretty sweet on the Geddon. It's not a nice skin on all the ship, but on that specific one, I like it a lot. Anyway, so I am bringing, like, slowly building up the number of ship I have in pocket so that I get more variety when it's time to go PvP. Because it's more often than none, it's bringing the right tool for what you need to fight. That's pretty much it for this week. There was a more rambling than usual on my part, less very juicy, interesting event. It was a calm week, but that's the what happened with the format of this show is some week are less eventful than other. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy, and if you got any question, any comment, any stuff, feel free to ask, and I'm reading all the comments every day. So hopefully see you guys next week. Bye bye.